Good evening. Welcome to the October 1st meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. Started off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and now I'd like to observe a moment of silence for School Board Chair's husband, Don Burke, who passed away this week. Thank you. And we will have public comment.
Thank you, Frank Campana. Going back to September 10th meeting, I was here. I commented on seeing police cars at the local repair, and I guess I really wasn't too emphatic, but again, sometimes you folks, need time to look things up. I was wondering, to investigate. I was wondering if anybody on the board looked into the fact of, the highway department being asked first to do repairs. If they have been, if they can't do them at the time, or if it's too much, of a, project for them to do. So has anybody done that?
I personally have not, but I know it's inspection month for the entire fleet, including the fire department.
Yeah.
And I know the fire department still has not had all of theirs completed, so I'm sure that he is out straight down there.
Okay.
For the month of September anyways.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll partially accept that. And then just as, I guess, putting myself in a predicament, I also commented and asked the selectmen to, in regards to setting the tax rate, if you would request information, how much money would have to be returned to reduce taxes. Well, as I was going through last year's, this is what the finance administrator hands out to you folks. I should have looked at it before I came in that night, but I didn't. I was actually looking at stuff for the school, but she actually does put it happens to be a column F on here, and it has the retainage, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess she does it purposely, not coincidentally, to equal, again, I can only show you this, to equal the tax rate of, actually, this was 2016, so it's 2017 rate. So I guess I prematurely asked for something that apparently has already been done, and just reiterate or request that that still be done, that information. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? None? Okay. We'll move on. Department head committee items. We'll have a default budget presentation from Beth Routh.
Alright, I am presenting the 2019 default budget this evening. Okay, just to go through a recap, really, the biggest changes will be the wages, the insurance premiums, they went down, and the New Hampshire retirement system contribution rates went down for the second half of 2019. So there's no changes in the first two departments. The third department, elections, there's only going to be one election in 2019. So that will reduce that budget by $5,400. Tax collector, changes there, again, were the wages, the increase per the town warrant raise, the decrease in the insurance premiums, and the decrease in the New Hampshire retirement system contributions. And there's just a 1% increase in the computer software program. So that total budget was decreased by $212. Assessing, there's a slight increase in assessing because the employee in assessing is no longer taking the buyout for insurance. They are enrolled in the healthcare. So there'll be an increase in that department by $4,000. Legal expenses stays the same. Finance administration, there's going to be a decrease by $106, again due to the decrease in insurance and decrease in New Hampshire retirement system. Town clerk, there's a slight increase, and that was due to the raises. Again, they also had a decrease in insurance and decrease in New Hampshire retirement system. Selectmen's office, there was a decrease of $2,723 over last year's approved budget. That was, again, raises increased, insurance and New Hampshire retirement system decrease. Land use, that one just has an increase due to the wages and a small decrease for New Hampshire retirement system. No changes in government buildings, cemeteries, insurances, advertising. So then you have the police department. We have raises per the CBA, the town vote, and then the chief's salary. That's 12 months at the rate prior to his contract, which was approved in 2017. The police part-time officer wages has to be increased to the full amount because those positions will be filled. Large decrease in the health insurance, again because of the premiums. And so there's an increase in that department by $6,639. Emergency management, there was just a small increase because of the raise. Fire department, there was a raise in the chief's salary per the town vote, a reduction in the wages secretary line. That's because the new secretary is not full-time, so she's not eligible for the bonus days. And then the raises per town vote. The software support contract for the fire department, there was a 2% increase in that contract. Code enforcement, the raise per the town vote. Again, decrease in the health insurance buyout because that employee is shared between assessing and code enforcement. So you'll see half the insurance in assessing and half the insurance in code enforcement. Again, increase in the health insurance, decreases in everything else. In the computer software, there's a 1% increase in that software support contract. So that's an increase of $4,158. Mostly due to the employee taking the insurance. No increase in forest fires. Highway department, there's a few increases. Most of them are due to the town vote. The part-time driver was added at a full year. That was a separate warrant article last year, but that was only budgeted for 9 months. Again, the insurance premiums decreased and the New Hampshire retirement systems decreased. So that department had a total of $1,200 increase. Transfer station, all of it was due to the wage increase. We do have one employee who's now been here for 10 years, so he receives the longevity bonus per the personnel policy. So total increase for that department was $387. Sewer, all of it is related to the wages. It through all the small departments till you get to library on page 10. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Okay, all right. Again, all those were increases due to the town warrant for the raises for the employees. And lastly, on page 11, the ambulance lease payment was finalized in 2018, so we will not see a payment in 2019 for that. So for total, the total operating budget will decrease by $68,264. Just one small note that might make a change to this is the health insurance premiums. Late October, they set the gross maximum amount increase, and then in the spring, they actually set the rate. So before we go to printing, there might be an increase or decrease in the insurance. And that is it. I just want to say that this year we're presenting the default budget first, so hopefully the time will be spent on listening to the departments on what they're proposing, how they want to better the services that they provide the town. So that's why this one's first. Any questions, we can get it out of the way and we can really focus on how we're going to serve the town better.
Perfect.
Questions?
Any questions? All set? Thank you.
Are you gonna open it to finance or not? What do you think?
Not right now. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you. To a gazebo discussion. Town gazebo over in the center. Looking for the committee representative, whoever that may be.
Three of us, Mr. Chairman, maybe you all
Yep.
come up.
Okay.
I'm Neil Kirk, Mount Dearborn Road, and with me are Denise Purington, Hodgson, Thorndike, and Mike Haas from Riverdale. We were appointed by the Weare Historical Society to look into the gazebo, and we had a real problem in trying to get estimates for what it would cost to repair it, or if it couldn't be repaired, to replicate it. And the reason was that, as you all know, this is an extremely busy time for contractors. We contacted, somewhere between 5 and 10 building contractors, and because of friendship with one engineer, we were able to get him to come out, but everybody else was busy. The tailors were busy. Who else did we call? Mike Pelletier was busy. In fact, I just spoke with him today. Hey, can you get out to the gazebo and look at it? He couldn't. Jim Donison was busy. So the reason for the delay was to enable us to get these estimates, and frankly, we couldn't. Now, one of the reasons, as I understand it, why the board voted to raise the gazebo was there was a concern about safety. We have had no such reports from people we contacted. I don't have a letter from Mike Pelletier, but he told me orally that there was no safety problem with the gazebo. It wasn't going to fall down. We have a letter that you see from Harry Weatherby, who looked at the gazebo and talked about what he thought needed to be done, but at the very end he says, in my opinion, the structure needs some maintenance and minor restoration by a skilled craftsman and will serve its intended purpose for years to come. He was very clear, if you read this whole thing, that this is not in danger of collapse. Now, you might want to consider additional bracing or something like that if you're really concerned about it. But as far as we were able to determine from the people who looked at the building, it's not going to fall down. At least not until for a year or so. And here's what we'd like to ask you to do. We'd like to ask you to give us until May 1st, 2019 to get some estimates. The gazebo is unique. It's 7-sided. It's got an extraordinarily unique roof. compared to, as you'll see, the gazebos in Milford, Henniker, and New Boston. If we don't get the extension, and if it's raised, we won't be able to restore it. We won't be able to replicate it, because obviously we couldn't measure it. And the only choice for us will be to replace it. The Historical Society Board had a meeting about this and a couple of weeks ago, and basically agreed to pay for the cost of restoring it or replicating it or replacing it, depending upon what it was found to be. So there would be no burden to the taxpayers of the town. The Historical Society would do some fundraising, contribute some of its own money, but in any event, there would be no cost to the citizens. And to remind you, this gazebo was given to the town in 1989 by the Historical Society to celebrate the town's 225th. So we would ask that you give us another 6 months or so we can actually get somebody to go in there. One of the problems that we had was that there's a trap door in the ceiling that's locked, and we couldn't get access to it. So the only access to see what's going on the roof is through that place where there's some rot and you can look up and see it. And that wasn't enough of an access with enough visibility for any of the people who looked at it to make a sound assessment. So our request is that you don't raise the gazebo as you would propose to do, and give us a chance to get a true estimate, make some measured drawings of the gazebo if we wish to replicate it, and preserve something that I think is a very important town asset. As you know, it's used in old home days, it's used by Parks and Rec for concerts, it's used for a whole variety of purposes, and if it's not replaced, I think the town will really be missing something that's an important feature. I'd be glad to answer any questions, and Mike and Denise, if they wish to add anything, I hope they'll feel free to do so.
Now, is there any, and obviously you guys would know better than I would, but is there any historical significance to the 7-sided roof, design of the roof, or design of the gazebo at all? It's local to the town of Weare?
No.
Okay.
It was a design that was done by some people who were trying to create an 18th century feel. Okay. And that particular roof is something which is similar to one at Monticello. I'm not sure why it's 7-sided, but the fellow who designed it decided it was going to be heptagonal, and by God he did it. And it's certainly unique.
I would just add that, I'm Denise Purington, by the way. If you notice on one of the slides, I had an opportunity to speak with Henniker in New Boston, folks who were involved with their gazebos, and we stuck in some pictures just to give you a sense that all the towns around us sort of have their own unique designs. In most of them, Henniker and New Boston in particular, similar to Weare, their gazebos were gifted to them through fundraising efforts or local organizations. So I think, we're trying to look at the same opportunity to keep that uniqueness to this town, like every other town kind of has to their gazebos.
I'd like to add to that, Mike Haas. We do have some estimates on replacement, but I just would point out that the replacements all have 8 sides and have that Victorian-style roof. It would not be possible, as far as we know, to find a replacement that had 7 sides or had a different style roof. I mean, the company that we've looked at does have different roof designs, but they're all basically kind of Victorian.
A standard.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Any other board members have questions? Comments? Now, obviously, I went over there probably 3-4 weeks ago now, and I took a look. The balusters, the actual load supporting columns are rotted, but the other ones have been, the actual balusters on the rail have been kicked out. Those didn't rot. Those were definitely broken by vandals. Is there any thought process moving forward on those, or is it just put them back in and paint them and hope they don't get kicked out again?
One of the things we had thought about was suggested by one of the committee members who's not here, suggested that once it's restored, we put benches along the inside. It would eliminate some of the space, but it would protect the rails from being kicked out and would provide certainly an added benefit to the town. So that's one way to deal with that, but yes, that is a problem.
All right.
And I think would like to add to that a couple of things. We at the Historical Society talked about, we don't want to put foolish money into something that's not worth it. So I think it is important to understand that we don't know at this point whether the current structure, the way it stands, is salvageable, whether it would need to be replicated, and maybe that cost would be way too much.
Right.
And then we'd have to look at the other option. I also spoke with Henniker because their gazebo is in front of their teen center. And I know there was some concerns here that a lot of the kids, and I think, we talked about maybe talking to Parks and Recs, going over to the middle school, having some conversations about why the gazebo's there and, how we take pride in what's in our town, because Henniker doesn't seem to have an issue, and it's right in front of their teen center. So I think, we want to try to address that a little bit too as we go forward, whatever the solution is.
Right. Right. Now, did any of the contractors that came out have any concerns with the foundation at all, as far as it basically just being blocks that can get pushed around by frost?
One contractor wanted to replace it with an Alaskan slab. Another contractor said that...
I think one contractor looked at it and said it's been shored up, and another contractor indicated that cement cylinders. We also talked about the Historical Society as we looked at some of that. We recognized that a lot of debris was probably buried under that, and so depending on what we have to do, if it turns out that it either has to be replicated or replaced, how do you look at the groundwork and really put something that's not going to shift?
Right.
And that might mean also getting a cost estimate to do some digging and shoring up the ground underneath the gazebo.
Okay.
So that's part of what we're going to assess and come back when we talk about the solution and the total cost.
Okay.
It would include what would be done for a foundation.
I think you'll find on that the DPW director has already offered
Yep.
to do some digging and replacing
Yep.
of the
Yeah.
junk that's underneath.
Yeah. And, we talked about, again, looking at other towns, if we were to have to go to digging, doing a lot of digging, lifting, moving, we could do things like fundraising, sell bricks with, people could buy them as a fundraising thing with a family member's name on it, and really just trying to add a little bit more, to the pride in the gazebo, maybe even some signage from people who donated in memory of, so that there maybe would be a little bit more pride with the kids, kind of thing. So we're trying to look at all aspects to make this something that the whole town, including the younger folks, take pride in.
Okay. All right, my personal feeling is that we have a full board before we make a complete decision. Other board members?
Can I just add? I'm not a board member. It is a town, we got information from the trustees, it's part of the town buildings.
Right.
So I would think you have to follow the same pattern if you're going to hire somebody, that it's done here.
Right. Right.
That's just my thought.
Any repairs would have to be
I mean, it's just,
warranted through here.
I understand the donation part of it, but we got clarification before when we looked at Reed's Ferry.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking at determination, could it be used under the government building fund? And the trustees understand that it is part of a government building, could be used.
Because it was donated to the town.
Because it was donated to the town, it's now ours.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I mean, I appreciate the contractors, and I think that's a great idea, but I think you'd still have to go through a process of 3 bids and everything else.
Right.
That's just my 2 cents.
And I think, you know, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because again, we just want to work within the parameters of what we have to.
Sure.
And again, that's why, as Neil said, we would come back here with an idea of what we got. And even the contractors who gave us estimates, it doesn't mean that they're the ones that are going to be selected.
Yep.
We're just trying to get a sense of whether this is
Oh, sure.
salvageable, and are we talking 50,000 or 10,000, or what are we talking?
Did you get an idea?
Yeah, so that we're all better informed.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we want to do?
So,
As far as, because I think we came to the conclusion that we were going to take it down up to this point, but again, I want to have a full board before we make a decision as far as what we're going to do. That'd be my opinion.
Will Jack be back next week?
next week we're not meeting.
Oh,
Right,
that's
so
right,
it'll be
be
2
the week
weeks.
after, in 2
And
weeks.
And he'd be here, I'm pretty
He'd be here
sure.
on the 15th.
Okay. All right, so, I say we put it on hold as far as keep it status quo where it is for 2 weeks. Is that okay with the board?
Yep.
And we'll have further discussion at that point. Did we keep one of these for Jack?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Do you need us to come back, or are you good with
I think we're
this?
good with the information that we have. I mean, you guys have done some due diligence, so I think that, we have enough information that and then what we can do is the Tuesday or Wednesday, we can get a hold of you with what,
Okay.
with what we decide, A and B, better direction at that point.
Or if you got nothing else to
I
do
mean-
Monday night, you come.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be here hanging out.
I mean, if
So-
you, in the meantime, get any further
Yeah,
information from the
please
people
provide it.
that you,
Yeah, please forward
have
it along.
contacted,
Yeah.
I think that would be good to bring
Right.
forward.
I think Mike Pelletier indicated that he was gonna try to see, does anybody have the key to the padlock in the ceiling?
I could look through the box, I'm sure we do.
If we could get it unlocked, right, then replace it, but as Neil said, if
Might be quicker.
He'd be happy to look up in there, because that's a big factor that we just don't
Right.
have a
Right.
full picture of.
Oh,
right
definitely is, I would
Yeah.
agree. Because if that's all rotted out, then that kind of solidifies
And if the
everything else.
snow's gonna take it down, it's,
Correct,
it
correct. So,
kinda makes sense to know that up front.
Yeah, so
Right.
if we can't find the key, can we have permission to maybe remove the lock and then replace it or
Is
something?
it a master lock?
It looked
I
like
don't
a
know.
very small little padlock.
It's not very big.
Yeah, it's like a little trap door that has a small lock on it.
Snip it and buy a new one.
I was gonna say, I don't think I would have hesitated, I would have snipped
Okay.
it, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it is worth having somebody look up in there.
Oh, absolutely,
Right, I
to
do
get a
too.
full picture, yes.
If Naomi can't find the key, may we snap the lock?
Yes, that's what, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
absolutely.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, it's a master lock.
Okay. Yeah, if we can't find the keys in a reasonable fashion, yeah, you guys got the
Good luck.
authorization.
Great.
Let us
Okay.
know. All right, great.
So,
Thank you.
All right,
you guys.
thank
Thank you
you.
all. Okay. Oh, in color, look at
Yeah.
that. All right. We'll move on to town-owned property discussion with Steve.
Good time.
Yeah, it was good time, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Steve Najar from the Conservation Commission. I'm the vice chair. And,
Now, are you representing the commission
yes,
here tonight?
yep, you got the letter, right? You guys all get it?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
You haven't seen it?
What
Yeah,
letter-
it came after our last meeting.
Do we want
I
to run the letter
forwarded
off,
to you.
or?
I haven't seen it.
I don't remember it. Sometimes when I send to board members,
Do you have a
yours
hard
gets
copy,
kicked
Naomi?
back.
You want me to go run?
Yours and yours get kicked back.
Really?
Yes,
Nothing like it.
and I don't know why.
Okay, because I don't think I got it either.
Gmails, yeah.
I don't, yeah, I don't remember getting it. I see this, the signature at the bottom. I don't remember the signature. You,
Oh, really?
you had a page. I don't remember that.
Yeah, Andy signed it and sent it out.
Did it come from Andy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember getting that. To be honest with you. So maybe that's why we're in the dark a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's
That'd
good
make
to
a little
know.
more
So,
sense.
well, I guess we'll hang on for a second till
Yeah.
Naomi makes copies.
Right.
If they're Gmails, the server doesn't like it anyway.
Oh, good.
Doesn't talk to those people.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
I don't either.
Didn't get this.
That was a couple of weeks ago, actually, that we, that Andy signed it. We had, at our September meeting, we essentially went through all of the proposed lots for the tax sale. I'd been inquiring with Naomi for quite a while, and I guess really just the list wasn't available. Essentially, some of the things previous to this we had was just the parcels that were in the town report. So this was really our first chance at even looking at what was proposed. The town has historically, at least since I've been on the Conservation Commission, I don't think we've had one of these tax sales in quite a long time. And we have in the past actually brought a warrant article before the town to take some of these parcels that were previously taken for taxes and turn them into conservation lands. So there's a pretty good history of that. And some of those are over fairly close to a few of the parcels that are proposed for sale. As you know, we've got an open space plan. Part of our mission is really to protect the resources of the town, the water resources, wetlands, open space, and I think we do a pretty good job at managing that, both trying to make it available to people, but also trying to be fiscally responsible. We generate revenue from forestry. We provide water resources that we're protecting, so there's really important values here. So we went down through this whole, this list of kind of what was proposed for sale, and just look at the various attributes that really involved conservation. And, we thought it made sense for a lot of these to be taken off. And if you look at, some of these are pretty small, but they're near other things. Like, for instance, that little parcel next to Daniels. People can walk on there and go ice fishing right now through town land, but if we sell that to someone, that opportunity's gone. The next one down, if y'all drive north up to Henniker, on the left side of 114 before you cross the line, there's an old, probably a Class 6 road right there. And that's some really good turtle habitat in there. I've actually stopped in the spring and saw a ton of turtles out there basking. Nice wetland. I think half the wetland right now is privately owned on one side of that Class 6, and this other parcel is just to the other side of it. So even though it's small, there's a lot going on there. And if you think about it, the whole group of conservation lands that are in Chipmunk Falls are really not too far from there. So I'd be surprised if someone bought that, but would really like to. The Conservation Commission thought it was pretty important habitat and it'd be worth taking off the list. Another one that came up was there's the one that has the Piscataquag River access, and I would think as a board we should really, and as we're on different boards obviously, but think about public access to waters for the townspeople. I'm not sure what we can expect to gain out of some of these parcels as far as the sale, but once we dump them, they're gone. And if you think about towns 100 years from now, as this become more developed, what do these little parcels mean just to people in the neighborhood? Think about when you're a kid and you're just kind of running around in the woods, and you're only going to be in the woods near your house, not the conservation land that's 2 miles down the road. There's a lot of good reasons to conserve things. So, we made some notes. There are also, there were a couple pieces there. I don't have the name of the road right in front of me now, but it's, let's see. Kind of down near the southwest portion of the town. And there was one of these parcels we could tell, you know, we haven't had a chance to run it because we just got the list of parcels a couple weeks ago. We haven't been able to run around every one of these pieces. Some of them we're pretty familiar with. Different members, you know, live near them. But, you know, some of them just looking at the, you know, the assessor's database, you can put the map and drill down and actually see what's there with imagery in the background. So those, I believe those two, 407 ones and 410, those are in an area that we had an open space plan that we're trying to conserve. We've got one over near Horace Marsh that it seems like it's pretty wet looking at the imagery. Now Horace Marsh, some of you may know or may not that, you know, the town helped pay for a check dam to conserve that marsh, and you know, it's all important habitat. We've been buying pieces around there. We've got a fairly new chunk of conservation land in that area that was called Wolf Creek. We bought a couple of years ago. The you know, even some insider knowledge, you know, full disclosure, I live up on Pondview. There's a piece that's kind of off at an angle down towards the end of the road. You would think a 7-acre piece is not important, but that connects. It's an undisturbed block of forest all the way through, goes down to the Hawks Wilson easements, then down to the town conservation area. And the neat thing is a couple parking spots right on that 7/10 of an acre piece right there. And then, like, you look on a map, there's one neighbor that kind of, there's a camp like way down the corner of the pond, and this property, there's an oak forest that person owns that hooks around, but then you look, Pondview Road actually keeps going, it connects into another 50-acre block that connects into those hundreds of acres. So pretty neat habitat, nice oak forest. So that's the list we came up with, and I also want to mention, I know I talked a little bit, I think we might have just, there's a parcel in here that's not on this list because it has more than 10 acres and I understand has a camp on it, but even something like that, you know, as a town, we should really go look at it because it's got, you know, it's just surrounded by wetlands. I think it was probably illegal dredge and fill right off 77 that got into that camp in the first place, but interesting habitat, so.
That would have to go to town meeting.
Yeah, the
Right.
10-acre piece. But I mean, just thinking about before it goes to town meeting, if that's our intent, we should come down there and look at it, talk about it, because it seems like there wasn't a lot of opportunity here. You know, we just had that list for.
But some of these have been on since the 90s.
They have, but no one's done anything as far as tax
Okay,
sales.
but
Like,
they've still been available if you wanted them. You could have.
yeah, you know, Pat's the one who threw that article together. You're right. I mean, but the ones that we thought of. Actually, some of them have been on and off. I mean, you have to look at the history of them. Not
I
all
have
of
the
them.
tax cards, and some of them have been on since
Since 92.
Since the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. Those little pieces we would never even be thinking about until. I mean, there's tons of little tiny
Right.
pieces in that.
We
in the town
decided as a
report.
group to put them on so that even a butter's going to get notified as well.
Yeah.
And it may give them an opportunity. I know it's small,
Right.
but it may give them an opportunity to have a little more frontage or something. That's why we went through the list.
Right.
Yeah, I just want, you know,
Yeah.
if we're losing opportunities for public access, that sort of thing, is that really something that we should be doing? Access to water, as you know, is pretty difficult if you're, you know, a fisherman.
And you never know, there may not be anybody to buy them.
Yeah, you
Right,
never
'cause-
know.
Yeah, because I had those, the majority of these were under my list for butters to be looking at,
Yeah.
because I can't imagine anybody else would probably want them except for you now.
A lot of those had no reserve too, I believe. I think it was just the ones that had buildings on them had a reserve on the, you know, on that proposed list that we reviewed,
Oh.
right?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd kind of question the opportunity lost if we, you know, if we get a trivial amount of money, was it worthwhile?
Right. Board member input?
You know my opinion. I think that for us, we're charged to do the best we can for the town, and I feel that all our list needs to go through the auction process. If they aren't sold, then we can revisit it after the auction, but I don't believe giving them the, permanently taking them out of tax rolls is doing the best we should for the town.
Jan?
I guess from that aspect, maybe.
Can I interject really quickly? I think one thing, you need to really be aware of, and if you get a chance to look it up, is cost of community services. So, in the event that one of these parcels gets developed, for instance, housing only pays, but it doesn't make, it doesn't meet the entire cost. There's a pretty good study on on New Hampshire, and it's basically residences cost about 120% more than they pay in taxes. So in timber and agricultural, about the most cost positive or neutral for a town, because you get the severance tax when timber gets harvested. They just don't require a lot of services. So it's one thing to really keep in mind.
Cherry, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of them here. Definitely, you should really think about keeping, which is that public access. I mean, we're talking less than 1/10 of an acre. It's not a buildable lot, so it's just a small strip. And I think the one where the Horace Marsh access one, that's just over 1/10 of an acre. I think that was really important because, the town may have to have access in there.
Didn't Bill speak to us about those?
Yeah. And then that Clark Mill Road,
Part
that
of a
strip
road.
is where this town turns around down there, so it could have a benefit that the town can still turn around when they're plowing down in there. Plus, it goes right through to the river, I believe.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, right
So,
to Centerbrook.
I think where there's water involved, I think you really should. I don't think these other ones, that wetland turtle habitat, that's all marsh. I mean, who's gonna wanna buy it? I know right where it is. It's up there, almost across from where Russell's, entrance to Russell's place is, up on 114.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone's gonna wanna buy it.
Right.
Okay, the 202-109, that's the one from across from Pine Hill, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 1 acre parcel.
Right. I mean,
I did go to look at these, so, there's one that's further up. Is that on here?
Further up where?
Further up,
No,
Concord Stage Road.
I don't believe so. Maybe.
Yeah, there's one right by the Green Bridge.
Yes.
Right,
Mhm.
the 403-172?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not on here. Okay. No, I didn't think I saw it, but.
My own opinion as a board member is, I would not have a problem with the 109-030, which is the Daniels Lake access.
Yeah.
Because it's so minute, I would not have a problem with retaining that for conservation.
Right.
But otherwise, I want all the rest of them to go through the process, and if they don't sell, then we revisit. That's my own opinion. I had a maybe next to the 107-15, which is the one up off of Bizer Bridge, not the little parcel, but the one across the way because it is so wet. But the rest of them, I would want to see go to auction first before.
Well, I think the 107-71 follows the same that you said for the
They're
top
across
one.
the street. They're across the street from each other. They're not
Yeah,
connected.
that's just a little teeny piece.
But I'm thinking that, once we make notification, I'm thinking that we're gonna have a lot of abutters to these lots that are gonna wanna, step in.
So which one
No,
are you talking
I was talking about the 107-71.
The 10th of
That
an
would
acre.
follow into the same category you gave the 109-030.
Daniels
Right,
Lake
but
one.
what I'm saying is they're across the street from one another.
What?
And, hold on, and they're across the street from one another.
Yeah.
And that .71 or whatever is the smaller one, not the 3.7, but the smaller one, the .6.
One.
Yeah, exactly. That landowner that's right behind it, where it's landlocked to his, their property, then they might want to buy that. That's my thought. So again, but that's again my own 2 cents. And some of these might not sell. You're right. They absolutely might not sell. But I'd want them to go through the process. Because and the other thing is too is, and I hate to, give this list like we did to the agent that we have, and then when it comes down to sale time, he's auctioning 2 lots. He started off, and he gets a commission on it, so it's worth his while to come over. And then, obviously we've selected him; he's going to do it. But would he want to do it in future when, we keep going back and forth? As far as I'm concerned, it's if I was in his shoes, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But again, that's my own 2 cents. So I don't know what the board wants to do. It sounds like we're kind of locked back and forth, 2-2, without Jack here. Like I said,
Are you taking off 109.30?
I would have no problem with that because of the fishing aspect. That again, that's my own opinion, because it is such a small lot. Nothing's going to be done with it, and it does access from Old Town to Daniels Lake. So I wouldn't have a problem with that one at all. But
That's the one in 107.71 you gave permission.
To the where went the one? Yes, the easement.
So those two.
Okay,
Those
that's
two
the one
bullet.
that's the one I'm talking about.
Well,
yeah.
we gave an easement,
Right.
but that's not to say that we
Giving it away.
we're giving it away. The other thing too is, and I mentioned it before, and I don't know if we've gone any further with it, but the Clark Mill Road at the end.
Yeah.
I have my notes here with conditions for the fact of, we did get an email from the abutter already, so the notification got to that person. They're interested in it, but again, I would want the conditions of the turnaround to continue to be used by the town. And I know that was a contention. So, but as far as the rest of it, I don't know. Like I said, that's just my own opinion. I'd want to see them go through the process. If they fail the process, then we revisit. Others?
That one was the one I was concerned about, but if there's conditions on it that we could use it, then that's,
Right.
I'm fine with
Or
that one.
or even change the change the spike locations, even if we gotta,
Yep.
just so that the end of that turnaround is on our property. Probably would help if we had this list before the meeting to go over it. But you tried. Your due diligence was
I
there.
forwarded it to you.
I didn't get this. This is the first time I've seen it.
Okay. It
So
would have been like right after your meeting on the 17th.
I didn't. Like I said, I would have remembered seeing Andy's signature on the bottom. I don't remember that.
To
So-
me, it just really seems like a tough process. Hasn't been, really open and transparent, at least with the Conservation Commission. I would have really expected a lot more input and time, rather than us, just because we've never done this before. At
Right.
least since I've been, involved in a long time. I think the board's making a gigantic mistake giving away access to public water, which is my own opinion. We're not going to get anything out of this. We're going to get pennies for it. You guys think it's going to do something to the tax roll? It's not. How much is it really going to add on when someone gets a little tiny lot and then they go ahead and dissolve the lot line? Nothing. That's a permanent decision you're making, so I'd really
No, I know.
encourage you to reconsider, because I think it's a really poor decision.
Any other board members like to speak?
So you're talking 109, 1013, the first one,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and the .11.
Yeah.
No, I'm only with one. The ladies are talking.
he's saying
the-
easement with it, right?
There's already an
There's
easement. Yeah, we're gonna write that, but But to actually, to the 10771 goes to the Conservation Commission for waterfront. Like I said, I'm at 109,030, but I mean, I guess I could sway either way on that little
Well,
section.
that does the same thing, that gives access for people to go in and fish.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I would concede those 2 lots, but the rest of them need to go through the auction process.
Okay. Okay.
Steve, is there money, in your budget so somebody from the conservation group could be there the day that they're gonna auction some of this stuff off and bid on it?
Oh, the Conservation Commission isn't purchasing them, huh?
No, I mean, the Conservation Commission, the account doesn't work that way. You'd have to have a third party do it and then
Oh,
buy
right.
it back if you were gonna do something like that.
Right.
I would just think, I don't even understand what the rush is on all this thing. It was like, this whole thing's been like black ops, honestly. It's crazy, the way it's happened. If I was gonna sell something, if I was gonna do my due diligence, I'd make sure I visited every one of them. And I can guarantee you, y'all haven't done that.
But it hasn't been secret. We talked about it at town meeting.
No, this has been,
Hasn't been
Yeah.
as far as the
secret.
list, asking for the list, there hasn't been a list until,
There's been a list for quite a
There's been a
while.
list in the town report for a long time.
yeah, well, that one was wrong. Remember, we went over the, so not the
But
list.
it hasn't been a secret. We talked about it at town meeting.
Well, it hasn't really gotten to the Conservation Commission all that well.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't help you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I gave it to everybody else that watches TV and knows about it. So I just take offense to it being secretive, because that's not right.
As far as the list of what
The
was gonna
list
be
is in the town
sold.
report.
No, the actual, this list.
The list
But we
we're
had
going
to
to
start
auction.
from the list at the town report.
What I'm saying is there's no input at all from the Conservation Commission. There was, when I asked for what was being considered, months ago, basically, we got a copy of the town report. And, that was it. So there was no actual firm list. And then I ran through that. Remember, I got back to you and said that actually had a bunch of errors in it. Some of the stuff was already under conservation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it hasn't been, as far as what we were really looking at doing, that hasn't been available or wasn't conveyed.
And I'll say the narrowing down was not, we narrowed down we had St. Jean's in there twice.
Yeah.
Right.
They've
The
been in here
first time they were,
twice to
yeah,
narrow down the list.
Yeah, over the last month or so.
right.
Yeah, so that's one meeting for us. So we had that one list and it was one meeting. Just how I feel about it, not that that's not an official position or anything, but it just seems, a little frustrating.
So where are we at, board? Are we still locked 2-2? On the other lots, I think we've come to the consensus on 10771 and 109,030. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you'd be really concerned with what you do around that check dam over there on Horace Lake. I mean, that whole bridge dam complex there is pretty important. I don't have a, perfect feeling for what the lay of the land is there right now and haven't had a chance to go look at it. But that could end up being an issue.
While we got you here, Steve, we're gonna go off the line with a little bit. How come the Conservation Commission does not follow the town purchasing policy?
I don't know, the conservation fund seems like it's never had to, but which one are we talking about?
Over $3,800 for a gate that never went out to bid?
That's all gone through the town forest account.
I understand that, but you need to go through the purchasing policy.
What we
town
should,
with.
well, that's fine, if that's your opinion, but that's
Yeah,
never been,
I mean, it's town money.
never been the case in the
It's
past.
town money. It's purchasing policy.
Okay,
My gut instinct would be to agree with that, but I think, my gut instinct would be to agree with that, but maybe next time we got legal counsel on the phone, we present that question.
Just my opinion.
Right.
Just
We would
spending
have
money
to-
on-
That the town puts in there by tax money, or,
No, it's not tax.
well, we still provide for the 30,000 comes out of the forestry account, right?
Yeah, it's timber
Okay,
revenue.
so it's, regardless, even if the town does not put in there, the town is the agent to expend. The taxpayer is the
Sure.
agents to expend.
Yep.
So, I would feel the same way, but that's not, I'm not saying that that's true, but like I said, it might be worth a question. Okay, 202, no, that's not the one I want. 17015, this is the one. Now, Steve, where is that dam located that you're talking about up on Horace, in relation to this map?
Beyond, it's out in the marsh.
Roughly.
Which one's where's the bridge? This one or this one?
15, the bridge
Bridge
runs
is right
right by over
Yeah,
16.
because that's that
Seven.
little .7, that's that 7-1.
Yeah, so this is the piece that's in the marsh, this is where the dam is right there.
Okay,
I
so
believe, which
technically-
way's the lake?
the lake would be this way,
Yeah, the dam's right there.
because Dudley Brook is right there.
Yeah, the dam's right there. I
Okay, so-
checked in, they put it
Which
on
way
the
you
side of
looking
the
at it?
bridge.
So it's up on the high side of that little corner lot then.
Yeah, I don't know how they accessed that, they must have gone right on there and they did it.
Right.
And I don't know if,
They wouldn't-
It's off of Badger Bridge though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's right off the corner of it.
yeah, they must have gone right down over it, I would guess.
But the
So
other-
for the maintenance of that thing, it would,
Okay.
could be.
That corner lot would be good, right,
Well, you're looking at the
Yeah.
small one, he's looking at 15.
right. I'm looking at that lot 15, but
That one.
But right here, he's saying the dam's up here. That's the lot, that's that
That's
corner
that
lot.
little teeny one, yeah.
And he says the dam's up here,
Right,
so,
that gives access to the
right,
backside.
right, which we just did that,
Right.
right. So,
Yeah. And then, even that bigger piece there that's in the marsh, I mean, that marsh is what we're paying to, that we paid to actually manage with that dam. That came out of conservation funds. It's been an area that's been targeted. I don't know what anyone's gonna do
that's
with it anyhow.
an area that's being affected by the dam, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
wet,
it's
it's
being maintained
underwater,
by
a
the
lot of
dam.
it.
Yeah. Just as John grabbed the opportunity, I too would like permission to grab the opportunity for one quick thing related to Eastman.
Yep.
We had a notification from Piscataqua Land Conservancy that there was some encroachment on Eastman, and it looks like it's all related to the folks that were in here for that new parcel, the land transfer, I think Holes or Houle.
Oh,
It's a pool.
cool.
Yeah. So it looks like they've got a flatbed trailer parked on the Eastman Conservation Area. Went ahead and talked to because the police department ran the plate. Turned out it came back to some petroleum company, which I think is them.
Okay.
And then there's a tent over there with a fire ring on conservation land. More than likely, that's related to them. It's right across the street.
Okay.
And then they went ahead and stacked a bunch of, they cut a bunch, and so there's a bunch of logs, like, I would say it's probably straddling our the right-of-way going up there, probably. So we're going to have to try to get in touch with them. And
This is that one over off of River and Barn Hill, is that correct?
No.
Off of
By
Pine,
Coleman.
where, right off.
By Coleman store.
Yeah.
Right down the shack
okay,
corner,
yep, okay, yep,
Yeah. So just wanted you to be aware of that.
okay.
Do
Yeah.
we know offhand, or if we have to go to council, but things like a tent that's just left out there, can we just grab that and throw it away, or is it?
The other thing is, I don't know where it's personal property, if it's,
Hmm.
I know it's on our parcel, on our easement, but I don't know where the law, as far as ownership and who has it and why it's there type thing. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to say yes at all to
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully it
I
gets
don't know.
resolved. And
I think the PD would be the
I
one
would
that
just
can
say
answer
that. I would
Can
check
answer
with
that.
PD.
Even with the easement, I mean, that rolls back to town of Weare. So, being the occupant, we'll call it, for the land. So,
yeah, it's already been reported, and they're contacting them to get the trailer out of there, hopefully.
Yep. Yep. All right, so we're back to the decision. What do you guys want to do? I think
We'll put it off for 2 weeks and we have full board.
we can do that, because when's the auction again? November
November 7th.
17th? Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, that's, and just give this information to Jack and see what he wants to do. I think that would break the tie. Either way. But. Sound good?
Sounds good to me. Appreciate
Okay.
the opportunity to speak
Yes, sir.
with you. And is someone going to follow up with us on the purchasing policy?
Yes. Yes. Can we write that down? Okay, thank you.
What about CIP, Steve?
Huh?
Do you guys don't do the CIP either?
No, never.
But why?
Why would we?
Well, you're asking for $150,000 every year or something along that lines.
No.
But it's at that
Your
forestry
warrant
account.
article, at the end, you always give us 2 warrant articles.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
last year,
No, that's just
and
what
then
we're,
last year, there was no discussion, and you got really upset because it got changed at town meeting.
Yeah.
But we
Right.
couldn't answer that question.
right.
Because
So
it
there was,
doesn't come through the CIP process like everybody else does.
why would it? Because we have our own accounts that we're just asking to authorization to use out of town forest. It's CIP is my understanding is a
I
budgeting
just
tool.
think it would be an understanding so that even the CIP committee that's
Right.
present could understand what was going on.
And the finance committee, and
And the finance committee would
Yeah.
understand.
Usually we talk to them when it's something really different.
Well,
You know,
last
not
year was completely,
yeah, no one
and
was
then
there.
everybody got all upset because it was all wrong and changed and.
yeah.
Yeah, well, someone got confused
just-
about thinking the town forester gets, you know, that they get paid whatever that dollar amount, and that's not the case. I mean, they're only getting paid based on.
I wasn't looking at that one, I was looking at the
Uh,
larger number.
Yeah, that's just
The
for
145 to 150 that's always asked for with no explanation.
no, it's for land acquisition in case something comes up. See,
Right.
see the two
I know
different.
you've said that
Yeah.
here, but nobody knew that across the
Right,
street.
and nobody knew that across the street about
And so
the
that's how it
30,000
got changed,
either.
because
Or
nobody was
25.
there to talk about it.
Yeah, I think all they changed was the you know, they reduced it back down to last year's to 5,000. But the, you know, basically because of the way the town forest account works, you have to get the approval of the town to be able to expend out of it. So that just made it available. It wasn't like there's
But it's similar to what the ambulance billing does. Their money's available through a different fund to purchase something, and they come to CIP. It's just just to know what the whole package looks like.
yeah, our understanding of CIP even, you know, in the past was just a budget.
I know, I've
until-
done it for years and never seen
Yeah.
anybody, and now,
Yeah,
you know what I
no.
mean?
Yeah.
I just thought it would be nice for everybody to work together. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, I don't think we're really familiar with CIP at all. So I guess if someone wants to come and lead us through it, that'd be great.
It's tomorrow morning.
Nobody
That-
wants
that-
us to go there.
Well, that would be the other thing too, is, you know, would one of the members be able to attend, where it's in the mornings
Right. Yeah.
during the week? You know, exactly.
Yeah.
That throws me out
Well,
instantly.
and Karen has to go in late to work to do Parks and Rec, but she makes it.
I don't get what even is gained, honestly. I mean, all you're doing is asking for, you know, the money that's there to be able to use it for, you know, land acquisition. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's nothing,
But it's straightforward for the ambulance billing too,
Right.
but they still have to get out there and go to finance and everything else.
Right.
Same thing.
But
I don't know.
At least, you know, yeah, okay.
I mean, it seems like potentially a lot of time spent for something that can convey.
Well,
two
if you guys
sentences.
had one in mind, it would, you know, if you guys had a spot parcel in mind, I
Yeah,
think
we don't.
it'd be more apt to have you there. But definitely, please, this year, have a member, you know, at town meeting,
At the
at the deliberative session.
Right,
February
Yes.
9th, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, February 9th, 9 o'clock. Please have somebody there. So we don't, again, so you can explain exactly what you explained to us just tonight about,
Right.
you know, what that $30,000 is used for. Because on print, it looks just like that's what we pay the forester.
No, I mean, that's where that
And-
gate
and-
money came out of.
Right.
And, yeah, any maintenance expense at all. for
Right,
the-
we understand that
Yeah.
now, but then that's exactly the way it read, that we pay him 30,000 to be for the forester. That's how it's written.
Yeah.
So that would, you know, again, to have one of your members there to explain that would be outstanding.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
You got it now anyhow, so you could stand up.
right,
And handle the
yes,
floor.
yeah, rattle it off, right, yeah. So but-
You're doing good.
yeah.
You want?
So
Thanks a lot.
all right, thanks, Steve. All right, we'll move on to meeting minutes of 9:10. I gotta find them now.
I know, me too.
You have 9:10 and 9:17.
Well, 9:17 we just got. Right.
Coming up Friday.
They did? I didn't get them. Anybody else
That's
get
wrong
it?
They
one.
got it on the website.
What?
They got put on the website.
Yeah,
Probably didn't email them.
no.
Oh.
Unless they're asked.
That's that one. Yes. Now I remember which ones these are.
Oh, I have them with me.
La-da-dee-la-da-doo.
No, I put them on the website, but unless I ask somebody to email, they don't get email. Not you.
9:10. There we go.
Alright, I have these. What did I do?
Aha.
I don't have them. I thought I did.
Nine 10. 9:10. When we're ready.
Okay, I lost them, I guess.
9:10.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, you go ahead. You guys must have it.
All right. Page 1, September 10th, 2018. Meeting minutes. And we're reading on page 1. Page 2. All right. We do have to make some grammatical changes here in paragraph 2, I believe it was. Yes, paragraph 2. I would like to add that it said that the public hearing announcement that Chief Kelly's contract would not be renewed and the department is looking for a full-time police chief at the end of Chief Kelly's term, December 31st, 2019. Yes, I did confirm that. And then at the end of the paragraph, Chairman Hipplick confirmed before April, and it would be April for the potential candidate process. Forming up a formal process or a job description. Well, not really a job description, but.
So you said at the end, for full-time police chief, at the end of Chief Kelly's term, column on December 31st, 2019.
Correct.
And then at the end where you said Chairman Hippolyte confirmed before April for the potential, what'd you say?
Well, because that's when we're going to start the process, correct? Oh, I
For
don't-
the process for
Yeah.
the potential
We're
candidate?
looking for
Right.
candidates,
right,
or candidates, or...
right. That paragraph, the way it was written, could have been read that
Yeah.
we're looking,
Yeah, I know.
we're looking for a new chief before his contract's up. So. Anything else on page 2? Page 3. Four. Five. Six. Page 7. Entertain a motion. Find
To
it.
accept the minutes of September 10th as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay.
And that's 17th, you'll
I just have
catch up
them
next
here. I
time.
don't know what I did.
You'll table the 17th.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm look- Yeah, because I didn't get them.
No, they weren't emailed.
Oh, okay. I think I did hear that.
Yeah.
They were on the website. That's what I heard. That's right.
And I
Okay.
don't go back to look at the website, so normally I just look for you to,
Yeah,
Or
I don't
somebody
ever look at the
forward
website. Rather not. All right, manifest.
The manifest have something on the bottom?
Yes. Just that what we did last week. Oh, should have more.
Yeah.
Should have more.
Was
So-
no snagger? Or
before she leaves.
You just want to do 1650 or? That's what we usually do, isn't it? Yeah, what?
we yelled at the stairs, feet
Yes.
falling out.
What'd she say?
Knock, knock, coming in.
Oh, God.
Disappeared.
And 50 will be fine, she said.
Okay.
What did she say? 60 and 50, Ricky left it.
Yeah. Hold on. Stand by.
He's gonna pull out part of it, because next week we're not meeting, so we have to, okay to pay.
Okay to pay.
All right. You know something? I just threw out last week's too, which had all the terminology on it. All right. I move the order the treasurer to sign payroll and accounts payables checks dated October 4th, 2018 is included in the following manifests. Payroll manifest $56,953.39. Fire department monthly payroll of $3,295.30. And accounts payable manifest of $121,316.98. And John Stark Regional accounts payable of $250,000 for a total of $431,565.67. The following manifests were previously ordered to sign at the September 17th, 2018 Board of Selectmen meeting. A payroll manifest of $59,905.80, which included weekly and monthly payroll checks dated 9/27, and an accounts payable manifest of $50,354.12 for checks dated 9/27. Furthermore, where there is no meeting on October 8th, further order the treasurer to sign accounts payables that cannot wait until our next scheduled meeting of approximately $60,000 and a payroll manifest of approximately $50,000 to be included in next week's, the following week's report.
Not bad,
Huh?
pretty close.
Did I get all the high points in there for legalities?
Well, without incurring
I'll
legal.
second.
Without incurring link charges and penalties.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I got a pretty good memory when it comes to stuff like that.
Not bad. Pretty good, actually. I'm gonna share it with you. Okay, just I'll say up front, can I have non-public at the end of the evening?
Yes, you
Yes.
can.
Okay. Let's see.
That's right, it's your report, isn't it?
No, it's not much. I don't know when the next meeting is for joint loss. I didn't even know when September's was. I don't think I was here.
It was here. It was last week.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Yep,
don't
I was
know.
here.
I'll find it. You know the text needed. Hazard mitigation, I've got to get an answer out of somebody.
Yes.
We're running out of time.
Oh, wicked.
I looked at an August email, and August email said that in 2 weeks it would be finalized with the state. Well, it's now October.
Right.
So, that's either gonna, ACO, I think Sean was gonna throw it back out one more time. I don't know what else to do, they
Yeah.
had nobody. That's what his thought was.
Okay.
Deliberative session has been confirmed now. I got the paper back.
Okay.
Saturday, September 9th at 9.
February 9th.
February.
Not September.
Oh, did I say September?
Yep.
Okay.
I think we've gone by that date.
Lawn care contracts, we said that 2 weeks ago we were gonna look through them and see, and at the time that we met, the only thing we wanted to add had to do with the cemeteries, and that was
Around the building.
to add the entire town-owned grass area around the brown barns must receive mowings
Right.
regularly. I don't know if there's anything more anybody else found in the fire or the general municipal.
Do you have the fire
Yeah.
It's gonna take me a while to get that one up.
I have it
There's
too.
one thing, actually in the municipal police,
Oh, sure.
both of them.
I got a question on contracts.
Yep.
Because they get paid monthly,
They get paid at the,
end of the month.
yep,
But what, if they say November, they don't clean up the cemeteries, they're still gonna get paid. We don't have any process to.
well, that's why we went to the end of the month, we used to do the first of the month.
Right.
So by November 30th,
They
As
haven't
opposed to
done it. They
everything
won't
they're
get
supposed,
paid.
everything is supposed to be done by, it says, spring and fall cleanup, no later than November 14th and no sooner than October 17th. So they're gonna start doing fall cleanup in a couple weeks here.
Sure.
So, I guess somebody will need to let me know if it's not done before the check goes out.
I just had a resident ask me why.
Right, we used to pay the first, which made no sense. 'Cause
Right,
don't
because
clean
we're
up
paying
until
them
they get
before
paid.
the work was done,
Right,
but now we're paying them after
Paying
the
at
work
the
is
end of
As long as
done.
work gets done.
right.
Yes.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Is municipal, the municipal one, I just want clarification.
Sure.
On the, it says entire property front and back. That, is that, I just want to confirm that's both sides of the rear driveway
Yeah.
up to Center Road, because that's been still being mowed by somebody else.
So you want both sides of the rear access?
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
because if that was to go hayfield, you would be able to see.
All right, well, let's make that change, because I do know that somebody else actually cleaned it up originally.
Right.
Been doing it for
Years.
several years.
Yeah.
Yes, so,
Find it.
and that's also part of that piece that we decided not to sell and take,
That narrow strip there.
that narrow strip.
Right.
So, there's no infringements or anything like that now.
So on number 5, where it says safety complex, entire property front and back, I'm gonna say.
Either side
on
of the.
Both sides of rear
back-
access.
Back
back
exit.
entrance.
Yes.
Okay,
Anybody have anything else on the contracts?
No.
No.
Nope.
everything else, 3 years? Haven't put an RFP out for 3 years?
Yep. That's what we decided, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, no meeting next week. Kind of giving you a tentative schedule, Jim. Monday, the 15th, we'll be doing the police. The 22nd is DPW, and the 29th is fire.
And what time is that? 10 in the morning?
Oh, that's here.
No,
No,
that's
no,
here.
no,
That's
that's
here.
here.
Oh, that's here. Oh, okay. Oh, because you've already gone through all of that.
That's CIP. This is budgets.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
budget.
And Jim's here from the finance.
I'm sorry, could you repeat those on?
Yep, on Monday, the 15th is police. Monday, the 22nd is DPW. And then Monday, the 29th will be fire. Okay? And then we did get some notification tomorrow, or what's tomorrow? Tuesday. Tomorrow,
Tuesday.
Wednesday, we're supposed to do some more finalization with DRA. So
Okay.
we'll be ready to set tax rate on the 15th.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what time, but we're gonna do it on the 15th. And then my last whole, getting out of here, I won't be here Thursday, Friday, or Monday.
No. How dare you?
Share that with everybody.
Yep, there it is. It's public knowledge now.
Exactly.
You're going to be washing the windows, right?
Yep. Gotta earn my time. Let's see, 2, 3. Back over to the buildings. Gazebo, we've agreed to wait till the 15th. We're gonna, we'll have a decision made by the board on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
10:15. I've emailed Walker to see if they got us in yet, because I haven't heard from anybody, and I didn't get an email response back. So I just reminded him that we gave him a third up front so that we'd have a guarantee, and I would like to know when.
Yep. Maybe a phone call.
Security camera project I have right here. You guys had asked for, if you remember, on that, you had 3 different prices. One was way below, one was
Mm-hmm.
kind of at the 11,000 range, but that met all the qualifications, and so you asked me to email the gentleman from the middle one. So I did that, and his RFP does include the integration to the current cameras.
Okay.
The staff will be trained to do the footage, just like the other guy was. The support and upgrade, PASIC is what you call them, would provide a full year parts and labor. The equipment is warranted for 5 years by the manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
So if the upgrades are required after the first year, the cost of the necessary software would be covered by the manufacturer, and PASIC would provide labor for a fee, not for free, for a fee.
Well, it's their labor rate, whatever it may
Right.
be.
So then the hourly cost is $115. That would be after the first year. That's an hour. Weare has to provide a 110 VAC power and network connection for the recorder, and that was correct. We have to provide that.
That's already there, isn't it?
It's there, but it just says there is an existing recorder which is sufficient we can use. We'll need the network connection to provide connectivity to the system to the individual users. And then, do they charge an annual fee? He said they will service the system on a time and material basis if desired, or they offer optional parts and labor service agreement. The cost of the agreement for the system is $987 for the first year after the initial 12-month warranty. So that's $987. The other was $588, but it's all optional.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to take it.
Right.
So I don't know if that answers your question any clearer than it was before.
Sounds like it did.
But that's the group that does the Manchester PD, the LA Healthcare, and Ropes and Grays. That's the middle company. If you go with the middle company, the 1880.96 has to come out of somewhere, because we've already got a purchase order sitting there for this number.
Right.
But we're going to be short $1,880.96, which could be maybe operating.
Yeah.
Because that's where this is sitting.
Right.
It's PO'd out of the system.
Right. I don't see why we.
So if you want to award that, I can get them started, if that's what you're thinking. They're located out of Mass. But this is their company, if that's what you're inclined to do. The
Right.
other one is out of Concord, the one that had the oil was addressed.
Right. So this met the spec.
That's, other than there was a few questions, if you remember right, according to the person that we had review it, said they didn't meet the spec. They specified the installation of a new camera, but they did not specify the integration of the existing, but he did. They do specify the 5-year warranty, but only include one coverage on parts and labor.
Mm-hmm.
But you got it from the manufacturer on the equipment.
Well.
So it's entirely up to you, but we gotta get them going if you're gonna, because they have to be done by December 31st.
So we have to come up with what, 1,800?
$1,880.96.
250 IP and analog cameras in Elliott. It's quite a bit.
The only thing is, refresh my memory, did he supply a certificate of insurance?
Yes, he did.
Oh, good, okay.
That's
I
right.
looked at them all, but I couldn't remember.
Yep. Commercial general liability.
Okay. Is it not expired? It should be into the middle.
They all expire 1/1/19. Every one of them.
All right, well, it'll be done by then.
I should hope so.
Well, it says it's supposed to be.
Probably renewable every year.
Yeah. Yep.
Every company, they're not gonna.
All right. Well, with the updated information, we ready to award the bid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There you go.
Now I make a motion that we hire Paskey to put the
PASEK.
PASEK
Yeah, PASEK is the way it's
and
the amount is the page behind. That one. Yep, on that one.
for a total of $9,868.34.
And you probably have to authorize, there's only one
Yeah.
signature.
Authorize me to sign.
Authorize him to sign.
And I authorize Rick Kipler, the chair, to sign the paperwork for that.
And then the remainder of the money is to come out of the operating budget.
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is that 4? Okay, good, we can get that off the table. So we're done with that. GC, we said we would talk about tonight. Was your intent to have like I had it from last week with a note. I have it on for tonight. Was your intent to, are we coming up with a job description or what are we doing?
Right, I think the reason I said tonight is I just wanted to get a, that would be good, to get a, wheels rolling for budgetary season. I know that before we've had the engineering firm on our speed dial, but in years past and not so recent past, you know, a lot of the projects that we didn't get overseen by somebody of general knowledge have turned around and bit us hard. And I'd rather have again, this is my opinion, I'd rather have somebody that we can call and, like a general contractor, and say, you know, we have, you know, 6 doors to hang, take care of it. And they have their people that they would have on you know, on a speed dial, come down, put them in. That general contractor oversees it, sees the installation, makes sure it's all good. He holds the secondary contractor liable if there's a problem, and it's held up to our satisfaction. But we only have one person to deal with instead of us trying to manage that person hanging the 6 doors. That basically that we don't. I mean, again, I can swing. I know what end of a hammer to hold on to, but swinging it's a different subject. You know, but
So you were actually looking for a group, like a company?
I'm looking for somebody that we can call and say we have a project. Now, this is, you know, and maybe I'm off base, but we say, hey, you know, we have a project to do, and you know, I know there's going to be a little bit of payment along there because obviously that's how they make money as well. But you know that at the end of the day, if we say, you know, hey, you know, the wall's falling down, we yell at, you know, said contractor, we can hold him liable, him or her liable,
Right.
or group liable, whoever it may be, and then they can go back on, because again, I don't want, you know, where we had the issue with the doors over yonder, I don't want to go back down that road where the town is, you know, is shelling out and trying to do our best at reading the details that we signed, hindsight 2020. You know, I'd rather be able to go after, you know, instead of the manufacturer or the vendor, to go after somebody that, you know, knows this trade and knows the people and is going to hire the people that should be the ones that we put up, you know.
I don't know, I think.
That's my opinion. Again, I myself don't like, it's one thing to hear, you know, input from somebody of knowledge, Sherry, that would you know, weigh in heavily on that. But at the end of the day, you know, I mean, do you want to oversee every nail that's put in that we you know, that we do over there, or any building? You know, if is it the, you know, you want to watch when we do the roof over at the or the safety complex, you want to watch them put all the shingles on. I don't think that should be put on your plate. Personally, I don't think, you know, nor should I be down there watching, you know, the town guys work on the trucks or our vendor down the street work on the cars to make sure that we're getting, you know. Again, I think that we need to have somebody that we can hold accountable on our side to take care of this stuff.
I think that, you know, by holding somebody accountable, I think we have a perfect opportunity right now with the code enforcement officer retiring, is to make that part, not to for him to have his people do it. That's not my point. For him to, or her, it could be a she, with experience, you know, in the buildings and so forth, and then they would come up with the specs for you to put out for bid and so forth. I think that could be encompassed into that position. Just expand the
But now,
job description
Okay.
and be responsible for going out and making sure that
The
the
jobs
things are
done
being followed
properly.
on and so forth. I mean, they're right here in the building.
okay, but now something goes wrong.
Well, then he gets fired. I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering.
What do you mean? if
Yeah,
something
well,
goes
that's
wrong?
the-
You mean
well,
somebody-
well-
if you hire somebody to come in and say,
Well,
put the
we're-
doors in, and they put them in wrong,
Right,
the code enforcement officer needs to inspect it before that person gets paid.
but
And
they,
if the
but
job
the
isn't
code
done-
enforcement said it was okay. You know,
Well, then you,
Okay.
if somebody's telling you it's okay and it isn't, then you need to hold the person, the code enforcement officer, responsible.
And
that-
also the
that-
person who put it in. That's why you have the certificate of insurance.
and that's fine. Well, that's. I think the certificate of insurance is something different. I think
No,
that's-
it's not. It shouldn't be just for workman's comp. It should also be for
Liability.
liability
Well-
of what they're doing.
Well, workmanship is something that's not going to be covered under general liability.
Oh.
But my thing is, at the end of the day, yes, we can discipline said employee, but still going to have this coming out. You know, it because regardless if and because at that point, then the contractor can say, well, your representative said it was all set.
So what happens if this person does it?
You can get the same thing with
He's going to
another-
get the
with a
same
general
thing. We're not going to be
contractor.
able to do anything to him either.
Yeah, you can have
What
the
do we
same
can
thing with
do
a
to
general
him?
contractor.
I don't know.
So
Or
you're
her.
saying to expand the role of code enforcement, is that what you're looking to do?
Yes, because I mean, they would know. I mean, they would.
They should know.
They should
We can
know.
try that. We can try that. I think that us as this board trying to oversee projects is not.
Oh, I agree
is not
with
correct.
that. I don't.
And I'm trying to think of other things that this board can delegate out. And if that's what we want to try, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I can read, I can read a shingle spec all day, but it doesn't mean anything to me, really.
Sure as heck doesn't mean much to me.
No, as long as they're up there and the roof don't leak.
I'll
I'm
be
happy.
honest.
Yeah, like I said, as long as they're up there and the roof don't leak, that's a good
Right.
shingle to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
So this would be a great opportunity
Uh-huh.
to take the job description for the code enforcement and the job description for the custodian, and let's see what we do.
okay.
Because we've been putting off the custodian because
Right.
it's budget season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great opportunity because I think there's a lot of maybe overlapping that, I mean, the custodian would come to code enforcement type of a thing that, of just the little things that, I mean, I
Okay.
got an email that the light bulb needed to be changed,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Which a custodian should
Right,
be able to do. Yes.
right.
Okay.
So I think if I can get, you guys head custodian position or job description, so you're gonna need new ones.
Yeah, I probably want you.
Yeah.
And then just look at them and see what you want, how you want to change it, because it may be an opportunity you could capitalize on.
Right, and we're not looking to change anything today, but again, with the retiring code enforcement officer, that could be the opportunity for the change.
Yeah, it's
So.
kind of timing.
Right.
Right.
So if we do that, I'll get those to you
Mm-hmm.
so that we can have a good conversation.
Right.
Because my intention is, once you've seen the three larger departments, that following Monday, which would be the first Monday in November, I'd like to do some of our budgets, or Beth will be ready for the wages and benefits part of it. We may push that off and do the smaller ones, just because then we would maybe have our numbers for insurance, because we don't get our insurance numbers till October.
Right.
So if we can, that's why we're kind of front-loading up, the three larger departments,
Mm-hmm.
get those done for the first time.
Yep. That's fine.
So
Yep.
if we want to, I'll get that to you, and let's take it as we can.
Yep.
I'm looking, though, to the first part of November, so we can,
Yep.
you get the three, so you're not all confused.
No,
We're
that's
trying
fine.
to do it with the same night, we're trying to do another department.
It works for me. It works for the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know that in my short tenure on this board, it's, I've seen a lot of projects that we've gotten, I don't want to say not had, because we haven't been had on them, but, we've
We
It's tough
haven't,
to
we
kinda
haven't been
call
satisfied.
somebody.
haven't been satisfied, right, we haven't been totally satisfied,
All right.
There's other things that I can
Right.
It's a lot of
be doing
work
than-
Yeah.
to follow through.
Yeah.
It
Start
is,
a project and follow it through and make sure you're getting the right
Right.
contractors
Right.
in.
right,
I mean, it's a lot of interviewing. I mean,
Mhm.
right.
just when we did the stone building, I mean, I've spent a lot of time going through that stuff, and it's.
No, it is. It's a delicate process. I can 100% respect that. I just, like I said, I'm not, you know, I hate, I just, you know, again, I just want to be satisfied, and I want the town to be satisfied with
Right.
the projects
Yeah,
that we do.
We want a good job. We want a
Right.
good job done
Right.
for the money.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
wanna-
So,
Yeah.
and I think
Well,
that,
it goes to back when we had when Tom was here, talking about, you know, how long did we be looking for somebody to give us a quote? And we already had a vetted contractor, even though we did seek him out. We had
Mhm.
already known his work, we had his insurance, and,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Sometimes that's worth a lot.
right,
Right.
And then the last one on my list, the food pantry, I'm gonna be meeting with them on Wednesday morning
Okay.
to see what the next plan is from here.
maybe if you could kick us a quick synopsis of how that
Yeah.
goes for an email.
I can do that.
Now, are
Okay.
you under the impression that they have found a place?
I'm not under that impression.
Are you
See, I
under-
was told by somebody that
Are they still looking for a place?
I mean, I got an email, I told you.
Well,
the email.
I think we're just under the impression that they don't want to close
I
up
had
shop
somebody
now.
drop food here because they called there and told it was coming here.
Oh, good.
But, well, yes and no, I mean, but there's confusion, so I think
Yeah.
right now,
Right, and I was gone, I heard from two different people, and then they said, let's just meet.
Mhm.
So, we're gonna meet
Absolutely.
Wednesday morning, and just have no back and forth and talk on the wrong.
Talk direct,
But
yeah.
I'll shoot you an email as to what happened.
Yep, thank you.
And then I do have, I got a letter in today's mail regarding, from the town of New Boston, which I thought Peter might have stayed. It's that time of year again to do the perambulation between New Boston
Where?
and Weare.
Wow.
And this one here says that, I can't believe it's been 7 years, but okay.
Doesn't seem like it's
It
been that
wasn't, it
long.
hasn't been.
Would do, well,
The one
Dunbarton,
It
no, but I don't know
says,
about New Boston.
yes, you have to do all 7. if you
Yeah.
remember.
Okay.
Hopkinton, I think we did 2 years ago with Hopkinton, so,
Right.
yeah.
Dunbarton we did last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
Goffstown was right after New Boston, I think.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have a selectman that's been appointed to fill the position. That says we plan on visiting the 10 boundary sites we have in common ahead of time to be able to lead the joint visit over the most directed and easy route. After the visit, the town will prepare a report. Please confirm dates and times in mid-October for somebody to go. Rodney Town's going.
Oh.
So, it says there's 10 boundary sites between us.
I'd love to attend, especially with Rodney, but I can't, not this month.
It says please by telephone or email dates and times in mid-October that are acceptable. Keith did it before
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't mind going, but,
And do you have time?
well, I would have to plan. It's probably a half a day. at
Is
least.
Rodney available during the day?
I think
He's
so.
retired
He's
now.
retired.
I believe he's retired.
He's retired now.
I mean, I could hike too, but
Well,
be a day out of the office.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Can't afford anymore. No, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
either. I'd like to go.
If once you give me some of your availability and I'll shoot him back an email.
Hmm.
Yeah, the only days that aren't good, I think, I'll double check. I know Tuesdays aren't good.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Because it's getting darker sooner, so
Yeah,
if
so-
we could do it during the day, I don't
Yep.
imagine there's 10 sites, because you go in and you find one and you don't do the whole boundary.
No, you just want to
Yeah.
do that one.
Just do the
10
pins,
sites,
yeah.
pins.
Depends.
All right, so I'll wait to hear back from you,
Yeah,
and then
I'll
I'll
give
shoot him some
Yeah,
dates.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure one of them's right there on 114, so
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
there you go.
Actually, there's a couple of them.
There you go.
And then, Ricky, you sent this to all of us?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
But it's for the assessment of April of 2019.
Yeah.
Did you get that out of it?
I got the fact that that anything that we deed effective 1/1 of 19
I
is
don't-
is a different percentage than.
Nope.
No,
No?
it's, the,
Okay, so you were right.
where did I read it? I should have highlighted it.
Well, I'm just thinking it's up and coming. That's all I want. That it's more information than anything.
Is it the bill for December of 19?
I try to build my house for 4-2.
Saw
Yep.
the date here too, April.
I think it's 4-1, isn't it?
So I think it would be, what, 2020? That
Right here, bill sent to the taxpayer on or after November 2nd and before April 1st of the following year. Interest shall be charged, interest shall not be charged until 30 days after the bills. Interest are up to $25 may be waived by the collector with the approval and consent of the board. Tax collector will send the bill. What was right in the front? It says, amended articles to read as follows. Interest at 8%, used to be 12, per annum, shall be charged upon all taxes except resident taxes, except as otherwise provided by statute, not paid on or before December 1st after their assessment, which would be collected from the date and with the taxes as incident thereto. I hate these, it's big long, one long
Oh, yeah,
sentence.
one long sentence, yeah.
Except in the case when a tax bill sent on or after November 1st and before April 1st. So I think it's a December.
Okay.
vote.
All right.
Yes.
Basically,
It
it's a House bill that went through, was it 1674 House bill number?
1673.
1673, I was close. And it changes the model of the delinquent taxes interest and penalty rate.
Instead of 12, it's 8. Instead of 18, it's 14.
Correct. So it drops it down substantially. But again, it was something that actually my father let me know about, and I figured I would forward it to the board for future knowledge. So
It's for the effective January 1st.
So
Right.
Sharon should have that, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
I would say
she
that.
knows, yeah.
yeah, that went into effect. That was actually voted on not too long ago. But yeah,
June or July.
yeah. But again, it's just something I wanted to let the board know about. That's all.
Because it says Section 8, which has to do with dilapidated buildings or damaged buildings, has a January 1st, and the remainder of this is April 1st of 2019.
Right.
Right.
All right, that's all I had except for non-public.
Okay, so we pulled those two lots off, correct? The 107.71 and 109.30. Okay. Recycling basket tonight. Okay.
Well, has anything been done about the evictions or the,
I talked to Laura today, but not on that. I'll have to. But they should have, they signed the letter, and September 30th came and went, and they didn't pay us, so they should know that it's going to auction.
It's coming.
But,
But-
they even signed the card.
right, no, I understand that, but we have to give them an eviction notice because they need
Both
to get out.
places. And you also need to decide, are you going to sell it with one house to make it conforming to today's standards?
Why isn't it grandfathered?
Is this North Star?
No.
I mean, there's two
This, yeah.
pieces, two houses on the one piece, and it was already that way, so why
been
would
that
it
way for-
change?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Just
know.
leave it.
Why is it our concern?
Oh, it's really not your concern, but what are you gonna do on the piece on North Stark? Same thing. You can demand that house come down. Remember, he told you that. You
Mhm.
can make that stipulation.
Well, that one I think we should. I mean, it's
Yeah. I don't-
eyesore
Yeah.
the way it is.
Well, it's gonna be an
Well, can it
independent
be
safety.
rebuilt on the corner where you can't see? You know what I mean? That is
You're talking the one that burnt?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking. I mean, I can
I don't
ask. I
know.
mean, I just think it's been non-conforming after, understandably, there's somebody in there, but I'm back to Mountain Road.
Yeah.
If,
I got that.
if it's been abandoned or not done anything for 2 years, it starts again. Really, just like any other thing,
Mm.
if it's abandoned. And that's been over 3 years now since we own it, because we took it in 2015.
I don't know. I don't think I'd
I would look into
think
what
I'd
we
leave it.
can and can't do.
I think you just put a note on this auction sale, lots non-conforming.
Well, the lot size is conforming. It's as it sits today
Needs to
with
be
two residences.
It would have to be subdivided.
And then have to go to zoning to get a variant.
Because I have no idea if there's one septic or two, or...
I think it's all on one. It's my guess, my feeling.
Right. Well, I agree with. To me, it's. I don't want to say buyer beware, but it's as is.
Yeah.
As is, as seen.
Non-conforming to current regulations.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you could,
Oh my God.
if somebody wanted to rebuild, it'd have to be in the same footprint. That's the only thing.
Right.
Or, they could subdivide it, couldn't they?
But they'd have to get a variance, and if it's on the same septic, then where we.
Well, they'd have to put another septic in.
Right. It'd
Right.
still have to be the variance and everything. So
That-
Yeah.
Or
I
well,
don't think
or
there's
both.
enough land there.
I don't think so either.
Mhm.
Because if it's in the RA, it takes 5 acres now apiece.
If it's in the-
Right.
RA, like-
Rural ag.
Yeah, there's 4.41 acres.
So it's not enough to make it happen.
Right.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, you brought it up a couple weeks ago, Class 6 roads.
No, I didn't. Maybe I did.
You did.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
My personal feeling is that we need to, the board, DPW director, fire chief, police chief, and have Chip there before he retires, because he knows what's been going on and what possibly could be coming up. I'd like to meet before Chip retires, at least get a
Did you get my
census of
email?
what's going on.
About.
It wouldn't have to be
Oh,
a Monday night, do it
It's
on
exactly
a
that.
Tuesday or a Wednesday night, so it's a
On
different
Class
night.
6?
No, it's been brought to my
Oh,
attention
yes,
by all
yes,
parties.
yes.
yeah.
That if I took the fire chief, the code enforcement, the zoning board chair, the planning board chair, the selectman chair,
Yeah,
there's somebody else on that list,
there is.
Benji.
Benji.
Yeah, the
And we all
road
sit down because the fire chief has supplied us with some good
Yeah.
Information, right.
but there seems to be a leap at a board level that's dictating conditions that not everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
So I thought if you got the chair to the planning, the chair to the zoning, the fire chief, the DPW, and I invited the chair, and we were hoping to meet maybe this next Wednesday night.
That's fine.
Can you do that?
Mhm.
We were all going to meet here on a Wednesday night to make sure everybody was on the same page, because you got one, and Chip would be included, that's the other one. One would dictate some conditions, but then that's fine on paper, but then it's really not conducive when the fire chief gets out there to look at the driveway, or Benji gets out there to look at it. So there needs to be some more thought to it, and I think we all need to be on the same page.
Well, if it's Class 6, the town doesn't maintain that.
No, they'd have to come here for your final say, but it just seems to be,
But if there's a standard they gotta follow to
Right.
get to us,
then everybody would be on the same standard, because
standard.
instead
Right.
of, I mean, we heard it tonight about, the couple that's building over
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
off of 77.
7.
mhm.
So if we had the same path for everybody to follow, with
Yeah.
everybody with a buy-in, that's kind of, we would be the last stop on Class 6. But if it's private, it goes to zoning, but we don't want the zoning to do something different than everybody else is doing, or vice versa.
I mean, if it's Class 6 and it's, the town owns it, can we put an article together that states this is what's gonna be done? If you're gonna build on a Class 6?
Oh, would put together like I call it an ordinance type of a thing, but RSA, I think it's 67441, has to do with the Class 6 and private roads. And there's a set of standards, but it has to come here for a final decision. But it would be nice, the fire chief did come up with some other towns, just so that we're on the same page. So if somebody comes in and says, if he starts at the wrong place, he can be directed into the right place.
Right.
So I had sent, Ricky works and so does Craig. The rest of them are here or could be here, so we're gonna meet at 4 o'clock, if that's okay, on the 10th, here at the town office Wednesday, because, it's late for everybody here, so we would be here other than Ricky and Craig. And Craig can do the 10th, not the 17th.
Yeah, that's fine, I'll do the 10.
Okay.
On those eviction notices, Naomi, if you could also, any new properties that we've just tax deeded?
Yep.
If there's any that are residents or whatever,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
had
that
one
should,
purchase theirs back the other day. Yeah, we could include those as well.
to be okay.
One that was on the original list we had, or another one?
No, one of the new ones that we just got.
Um, I can't imagine that the property that we're talking about with the two, do you know if there's any lien holder on the property on North Star?
We sent notices to several.
Okay, it's not notices, okay? Under RSA 8090, okay? And this is if you're selling the property prior to the 3 years of taking it. If the former owner elects not to repurchase, the municipality may elect to go forward with the sale. However, it may only retain the recovery allowed by statute. Any excess proceeds must be turned over to the former owner if there was only one or joint former owners easily identified available and there are no lien holders. Otherwise, the municipality must file an interpleader in Superior Court. I mean, we can get everything that we are owed, including, like, I don't know if we've been getting the money back from these people that we've redeeded them to. We could get paid for that, too.
What do you mean, what money?
You know, when we've sold, when we've given them back to them, we
The
can.
administration fee of 15%?
Yeah, well, it's 10 now. It's not 15 yet. It's been reduced.
We have not, if it's the person that's living in the home.
And I believe that when we do this auction, that we can get paid if, say, Laura prepares those deeds and so forth, we can get paid her attorney fees
Yeah.
and the fee for the
Yes, because,
deeds.
right.
But we do have to set it up with Superior Court, because, I mean, it only makes sense. If you go to a closing, I know that I got pounced on this by another selectman when I brought it up before. And when it was being said to me, well, you just give it to the former owner. You never go to a sale of your own property and hand the money to the former owner and expect that the bank's going to get paid.
No.
The checks are all there, cut for the bank, then the balance or whatever it is that's due the owner gets done. Well, that's the same thing that's here. So it's the town's responsibility
So
to
when we
do
sent
that.
6 lien holder notices when we did our search, there's
Yes.
6 different lien holders.
Yep,
So
Who gets the money?
somebody's
Wait a
gonna go and make sure those 6 are still there.
the lien holders,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they would be. Why wouldn't they be?
I'm just saying, we notified them before we took it.
Right, no,
As
it's our
lien holders.
responsibility. Once our monies are paid back to us,
Yep.
we're the first ones because we own the property, so
Okay.
we are gonna get the money.
Sure.
The lien holder then gets what may be left,
Okay.
not the owner,
Yeah.
the lien holder.
Right.
Then the
Well-
owner gets the money,
well,
but it
to-
is our responsibility to do this into Superior Court. The money goes there after the sale.
Well, to me, it would make sense that we get our share,
Yes,
and then what's left would go back to whoever we had on the tax deed before we took it.
no, that's not what this is telling you to do. Your lien holders,
Go back to the
yeah,
bank. if
you
it's
have to
full.
pay off your lien holder.
Well,
Wait
a lot-
one more year.
A lot of
and
times
keep
on the
it
deed,
yourself.
it's the bank.
It's
What's
only
that?
the ones that
A
are
lot of
not
times on the
for
deed,
years.
it's the bank that's on there.
It is?
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, if on the owners, on the card, it'll say Bank of America or whatever.
If they foreclose.
If they foreclosed on it. But
we
not
took it
if they
for
didn't
tax deed.
foreclose, because if you notice that we took the deeds from all these people. We
Right,
didn't,
but I
we
guess,
didn't take them.
I guess like I said, I mean, we did our. I guess I don't understand why that's our responsibility, because we notified
But
the.
who's gonna pay it? If the lien holder
No, no.
is supposed to get the money, who's gonna pay it?
Well, that's just we notified the 6 lien holders on there.
That's different. That's notifying them that the amount is due,
That we're gonna take it for tax.
that we're gonna take it for taxes. That has nothing to do with
With this,
what
after
the property is actually worth and
So-
who's gonna
Well,
get the
what-
money
so at the end
for
of the
it.
day-
for it.
I mean, they're foolish for not taking care of it. I have to agree with that.
So at the end of the day, we're going to spend more money to find out
We'll
where to
get
give
it
this
back.
money.
We'll get it back.
We'll
We can
get it
take it.
back.
If we end
It
up
has
with.
to be
No.
put into an interpleader account, but the lien holders will be able to find easily on,
No, that's what I'm saying, is we're going to spend money to go find the lien holders
No, we're not.
after the sale.
that's why I've been asking for them before the sale.
But I don't know why they're any different than the letters that we've sent out. Why would the lien holder be any different than those?
It wouldn't be if you've got the letters and,
Well, I get an envelope. I don't
Yep.
know what's in each
Yeah.
envelope, but.
right.
Yeah,
So if
then-
you have that information,
Mhm.
and just make sure that somehow something didn't get recorded afterwards by somebody else as a lien holder, who knows? But it's up to us to do that.
But
That's, okay, you can check that with,
we're,
Laura.
I guess we're still spending money after the sale's been done.
Not necessarily.
Well, we
we
have-
have to do this with the Superior Court,
There's legal fees
yeah.
that we'll never
We
get back.
can
I have
collect that,
been
though.
asking for
We
this
can-
for quite a while.
We can collect that.
After the sale?
I believe you can put a bill in for the money that goes to
Yes.
Superior Court, and they have to pay you, they have to
Right.
pay the town out of
As
that.
long as we're free and clear afterwards.
Right.
You get your money first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get your
So
money
if you're the
first.
sixth lien holder, too bad.
Yep.
Right.
There
Yep.
ain't enough
You're
money.
But
up-
we're
you're
the
up a
first
creek with that
lien
pedal.
holder, so
That's
we're gonna get our money.
as we should be.
Yes. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
So
Okay.
we have to, as far as people that are still living in some of these properties that are gonna come up for auction,
We only have one.
just that one, and we'll have to send a notice saying you've got 30 days to so if we're having that.
We can do it now.
We need to
We
do it
should
right
do it
away.
now.
Yeah, she needs to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
But be prepared, you may have to pay rent somewhere.
Yeah, it's the other side.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
They may.
No, you would, if they are homeless all of a
Oh, if they're
sudden.
homeless, yeah, we'll end up footing the bill.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Well, I mean, she's got Social Security
Well,
cover.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, all right. I got two other things. You all set?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank
I got two other things. One is a little correspondence. That's kind of what we're under is correspondence of the business. Is that trick or treat will be October 31st, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Just letting y'all know. Correspondence that I got.
What'd he say, 4 to 6?
4 to 8.
4 to 8.
That's,
Yeah, that's way too dark.
okay, I'll leave that alone.
So I'm just relaying the message that I got.
Quite a while.
And there was also some correspondence between the resident at the end of River and Depot with that myself and Selectman Burdick were involved with, and now
He was here tonight.
Yeah, he was here.
Tonight, yeah.
DPW Director Knapp was also sent him back an email regarding some signage and some labeling of the intersection, potentially a mirror to go down there. But he, again, our Director Knapp is all, like I said, he can go down there and actually see the individual and discuss some solutions and potential problems that unfortunately can't be cured at this point in time. But maybe we can move forward and continue to move forward. But just like I said, there was some correspondence there, so I figured I'd let the board know. Anything else? Okay, moving to go in non-public under RSA 91A3 Roman numeral 2 A and C. Is there a second?
Okay.
You allow me a quick question?
I can do that,
Okay.
as long as it's quick.
In regards to the cameras, the security cameras?
Yeah.
Was the bid awarded to the company in Massachusetts?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think in that discussion, there was also, you had an option for us to pay a service fee
Yes,
for repair.
that was not in there.
That was not in that?
It's
No,
optional.
that was optional and we did
It's
not.
like a warranty.
Right, that was not included in that price.
Right, but if there's a service, if you have to pay for service for them, do they charge for mileage from when they leave the shop?
It's $115 an hour.
Yeah, $115 an hour.
$115 an hour.
And I'm
For when they leave?
Mhm.
sure, yeah.
So probably a couple $100 an hour.
Just in travel.
Just
Yeah.
in travel, yeah.
hmm
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Is there a second?
Yeah, Sherry did already.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we will be adjourning afterwards, after the conclusion of the non-public.